All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's episode, I'm going to be showing you guys some tips and tricks on using rigid tubing benders. I've got two different sizes here. This is kind of the main sizes that I like to use here. I like using 3/8 tubing, and I like using 1/2 inch tubing. When building race cars or making mounts or making all kinds of handy dandy stuff, it's awesome to be able to make 9-degree bends, 180s, and all kinds of other different angles of bends as well. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how I mounted my transmission cooler and many different things that you guys can make using these benders, and some very handy blueprint and measuring tips and tricks of how to do that. So let's get into the episode here. All right, guys, so this is the car that we're going to be working on, this transmission cooler, okay, for the mounts here. And I've already got it in there, but I'm going to show you guys the different steps of how we've done it. And transmission mount ended up turning out pretty good there. So I want to give you guys some different examples of what this tubing bender can be used for, okay? Very versatile tool, okay? So I've used it on the transmission cooler. I've used it on the mounts for a steering column there. You guys can see that. The mounts for the dash for the Holly, you guys can see that. And I'll go out here on the front of the car. I normally use this size of tubing for a lot of mounting for like fiberglass panels and stuff like that. So that's all the different things that I've used this type of bender for. All right, so when I talk about the bender mark, you'll hear me talk about that a lot in this video here. That's this mark right here, okay? Hope you guys can see it there. See this tube clamp right here that holds the tubing in place? That's my bender mark. You guys can use it on this side or that side or wherever you want to do it at, but this is what works for me. All right, so we're going to use this template here to come up with our bottom base for the bracket on the transmission cooler, okay? And what I've come up with is basically, if this makes sense, the trans cooler sits here, and we're gonna have ourselves some triangle tabs mounted in here somewheres, mounted in here somewheres, and they're gonna stick up vertically off of this tube here, and then the trans cooler sits on top of it, and then it bolts together right there. Okay, that's kind of my first thoughts on this. But I've also used this same template to do several other things as well. And sometimes you find yourself reusing some of the same templates over and over again for different stuff. I've actually used this template with this size of tubing to do different things before, and it works really well. And it'll do the same thing with this, okay? So first up, we got ourselves a bender mark right here, okay? We're taking the transfer of this bender mark, all right? And I know where a location is on my chassis that I need it to be 10.5 inches sticking out here, okay? So we need 10.5 inches of tubing before we even get to the bender mark. So that's good information right there. So basically what that means is that bender is kind of sitting like this, 10.5 inches of material sticking out this way, okay? Now, you can also, since you've already got a test piece, you can take your tape measure and go around it and understand how much material that this is, okay? And that's handy as well to have, so you know what the minimal amount of material it is that it takes for that bender to actually bend out a 90-degree angle, okay? So we know how much material this takes. It's 10.5 inches is going to be here. All right, so now we need to measure all the way around to our next bend, okay, which is over to here. All right, there's our next bend mark. So how much material is this going to take? So what we do is take this measuring tape, and this gets you, folks, this gets you really close here, believe it or not. Just hold it like that. Hold it like that. All right, so we're looking at 15 3/8, something like that. So now we know our second bend mark is at 15 3/8. Okay, now we know again that we're going to need, you know, to have that same amount, that's 10.5 inches hanging off over here. So the cool thing about that is we can take information we got from over here transfer it from over there, and now we know the total length amount of tubing that we're going to need. And that's where these little drawings right here come in really, really handy. There's multiple ways of doing this. My math may not make sense to you guys, but you may be able to take this and run with it. So we're going to take that information, we're going to make some bends, and we're going to make this bottom piece and get after it here. All right, so we now got our cheater bar, okay? You can stick that over this handle, and now you can give it full send, and you can bend very, very simply, okay? Alrighty guys, so I have to apologize to y'all. I lost some footage and something happened to my camera here, so I hate that we lost that footage on making that exact piece. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make something to try to explain what happened here. So this is a piece that was in my scrap bucket. It's very similar, that same shape. It's got two bends in it, I get it. It's got a support piece here and a bracket on here, so disregard those. So how do you bend this bend parallel and even with this bend so your bends aren't like cockeyed to each other? It's very, very simple. So all you have to do, get you a level, okay? And you want to put it on your bender first. All right, so get your bender leveled out in the vise, just like a little bit more, just like that. Okay, now the actual die is level, okay? So make your first bend, okay? Once that bend is in there and you go to do your second bend, okay? Now you're ready to put your second bend in there. Now you'll need to put the level on the first bend. You level it out just like that. And as soon as it's level, bend the second bend. And then there you are. That's how you get both bends level with one another. And you guys can kind of see this one. See how it's level with each other? That's how you do it. All right, guys, we got our bracket in there. We've got the transcooler mounted to the bracket. I apologize that we lost the footage there of getting it welded in and bending it. That was really aggravating there. But you guys can kind of see how this whole deal kind of worked out there. Hey, Sam Cat, what you doing, buddy? But that's what we got going on. So it's looking good. And check out the strength of this deal. Let's see here. I mean, it's pretty sturdy. It worked out really, really well. Right now, I'm running the transcooler lines. We'll go on inside the car here and let you guys see it. We're running our transcooler lines over here to transmission. So let's get after it. Alright guys, so this is something that I use on thread sealant instead of tape. I use this high temperature liquid. It's made by Permatex thread sealant. You guys can get this at the Vance Store, AutoZone, Napa, even Lowe's sells this stuff. Pretty good stuff, and it's pretty clean, and it always seals up really, really good. You can use this on airlines. I've even used this on engine blocks for like intakes for water fittings and stuff like that. It's going to have antifreeze running through it. Pretty daggum good stuff. Alrighty guys, we just wrapped up several things there. Went ahead and put the seat back in the car. We got all of our transmission lines all hooked up, and they are hooked up to the transcooler back here in the back. That thing is all mounted up. We still got wiring stuff that we need to clean up back here. I'm waiting on a bunch of this wire cover stuff to come in the next couple of days. And I should be able to mount all that stuff down, tuck it away, make it all look good. And yeah, so we got that stuff looking good. On up here at the front of the car, I went ahead and mounted my GUR tag. You got to do that, but you guys see that. Boom, check it out. You gotta have one of those Pontiac tags on a Pontiac, just saying. But anyways guys, I think that's gonna do it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see y'all in the next one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Don't forget to go over to KilmerSports.com, where we've got all kinds of merch over there and all kinds of high performance products as well. And definitely a big shout out to our sponsors and partners. Till next time, you guys have a good one.